Welcome, viewers and listeners, to the Voice of the People program. Today being Saturday, July the 21st, 2018. This program is coming to you live all the way from Georgetown, Channel 6. This is Guyana, and so I'm saying this because this program is viewed throughout the world. It is also streamed live, and you could also follow it on the internet at your convenience because it will be on Channel 6 website. So for these and many reasons, I will indicate that this is a live program all the way from Channel 6, Georgetown, Guyana. Your host, Jai Paul Sharma, Member of Parliament and Minister of Government. And in the studio with me is two of our party members, Mr. Rahman on my left and Mr. Charles Griffith on my right. The three of us, and with maybe the inclusion of any other that will join us during the program, we will take your questions and we will also highlight you on matters of concerns to us here on this program, the Voice of the People program, a political program linked to the Justice for All Party. So we will speak about what our party, the Justice for All, visions are. And so with that, I will go to Mr. Hammond. But just to remind you, we'll be taking calls, and apparently there's only one line that is operating, and that is 225-0010, 225-0010. So you use that. But let me go to the lines before I go to Mr. Rahman. Caller, in there.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Jay.
Good afternoon.
And the gentleman, the two
Good
other
afternoon.
gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Would Justice Raw go to the local government elections?
No, if you followed me, and maybe I know you follow me, but not always. I know it's difficult.
Yeah.
But I did indicate that the Justice for All Party will not contest the local government elections.
Okay. The other question. You know, we got a serious situation right now, a serious decision to make as a government in connection with the Commissioner of Police because crime is spiral. It's going way beyond our control. I think our Commissioner of Police should be one that doesn't have a baggage. And I don't know, my best person I could think about is Paul Williams. The position which I think he would be a good commissioner. Mr. Rahman's supposed to know him because he was second in charge of Lenora on the West Bank, West Dem. I think the guy is a fair guy. What we have here right now, when Silal was there, Silal had one set of people with him. David Ramnarayan got another set with him. And the police, they're divided. I think a man like Paul Slow would bring unity in the police force, and with unity, there's strength. And with strength, we could conquer all things. I think we need a fresh person to really do what they have to do. If you watch the crime, where murders and so, I think Paul Williams is doing a wonderful job, and I think he should be the next Commissioner of Police. Thank you very much, sir. What do you think?
Okay, thank you for your comment and for your statement. The program is not to promote any senior officer in the Guyana Police Force to be the Commissioner of Police. I believe Commissioner of Police in the past, Assistant Commissioner Ramnarayan, that is Acting Commissioner of Police. Many good things was done, and also because the police force is not an ordinary unit or department or agency of the arm of government, is difficult to control an organization of that size and have successful story every single time. Because of the wild card, they always an officer, a constable, a junior rank or senior rank that will cause embarrassment to the force. The test is that when such occurrence occur, that those in authority, be it the Guyana Police Force hierarchy or the Ministry of Public Security, Cabinet, take decisive action that will send a clear message to those that would want to stained or dirty the name of the Guyana Police Force. So yes, the Guyana Police Force is doing as much they can with the limited resources. I'm sure they could have solved more murder, they could be more professional in the way they operate. And the reason why officers may be the way they are, maybe because they are understaffed too. It's not easy being a police officer, and one of the issues may be the pay, or even the treatment of them by senior officers. I being a minister also have ranks working at my residence, and there's always a story to tell you about some of the situation they face. And as being a member of parliament in the opposition then, and a minister now, police will reach me. Of course, they will first greet you with the necessary salutation, and then they will speak with you and on a one-on-one and say, Minister, this is what is happening. I know you're a person that's concerned about people, and we are people, and that is the problem. Apparently, the hierarchy in the police force do not treat their junior officers as being equal or being a human, and they would treat them the way that they were treated. So they was treated harsh, you have to be treated harsh too, as it will never stop. So yes, the crime chief presently, I think he's an excellent candidate. But those decisions will be up to leading the opposition and the president himself to select a person to be commissioner of police for all Guyana. These commissioner of police, like any person in authority, when they are appointed, they will want to surround themselves with ranks that will support them and their interests. And so you will always find a commissioner of police or any person in authority will surround themselves with a person that will support their work, their interests. And we hope it's honest reasons that they're doing so, surrounding themselves with such officer. So as I indicated, we'll go with Mr. Rahman. We also will be taking calls. The number will be 225-0010. I'm getting the next call. I just want to get a feel of the callers. Caller, in there.
A pleasant and a blessed good afternoon to you, Minister.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Rahman and Mr. Griffith.
Morning.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Thanks very much.
Mr. Griffith, I would very much like to compliment you on your program last week, Saturday. It was really edifying and educational. It shows you have top knowledge on your being a technical person, an engineering person, and you also have one good thing on your side. You have Minister Sharma on your side. And what you have brought forth to the public, it brought back memories to the Honorable Mr. Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham. From day one, he preached local. He wanted you to use your resources that you have. Don't bother with the Americans, with what they have, what we would term junk food. But we have our good resources. Nobody could have known that shark could have made good saltfish. Carambola could have made such good fruit. Even the common bilimbi that we would term as sauri or one finger took the place of prunes. We also had black sage toothpaste. I don't know if people who as young as I am could recall in the early 70s what we had. You didn't have to go out and pick a piece of black sage. Toothpaste was already there. They had a cassava mill at Perico. They had a glass factory. He opened the national service to various centers. He fenced his country and made settlements in those areas. He was planting cotton at Kimbia, and he brought in the Chinese to make such beautiful cotton prints. There is work in Guyana. We have the resources to feed, clothe, and house ourselves. Burnham was teaching us to be independent. Use what you have. He may have made a couple of mistakes, But Mr. Griffith, I want you, I don't know how much you will able to give us or how many opportunities are open for you to extend your knowledge of what you know and let us put it into practice. They will have work for the youth if we only go down our road to using what we have. I know the oil is coming. I know money will be there. But then there are other avenues for the youth who will not be able to go into the oil industry. There is also, you can have remedial classes for those youth who were born under a certain regime that only know about lawlessness and how to get past business. But Mr. Griffith, continue to do your work. We had the glass factory, we had the clay brick factory, we used to make tapir vehicles. I learned that there are still a couple upon the quarantine. We used to make the ideal gas stoves. We used to make fridge, Greco serious sets. Perhaps if the Honorable President and his ministers are really listening, they can sit down and form those little things, bring back the old people that had that knowledge years ago, and we could have a different outlook on Guyana. So, Mr. Griffith, there are so many people behind you. Mr. Sharma, I know you will do everything you can within your power to assist us. And Mr. Griffith, keep up the good work, and we hope to hear much, much more from you in the technical field, because we know you are number one person in that area. God bless you all and keep well.
Okay, caller, thank you. So the caller was absolutely right, and this program and this party, Just Royal Party, promotes local, and our focus is on local agro-processing. Guyana produces a lot of things, but a lot of people don't know. So even the foods that we eat, is produced locally, and you know that as cash crop. Then this agro-processing, how could you convert that so it could be stored, could be preserved for a longer period?
And exported.
And of course, it's exported. We are known for doing a lot. The decline of manufacturing sector probably started in the late 80s and declined under a PVPC regime. So we need this back in Guyana. As the caller indicated, this is one way of creating employment. You heard the president speaking about, being your own boss is the better way to go and the better way to be. Don't depend on the public service to get a job, because the future is in owning your own business and being your own boss. There's so much opportunity that is available in Guyana that we can, as Guyanese, take advantage of. So because that caller focused on Mr. Griffith, I will ask Mr. Griffith to give a comment and an indicator. We'll start with Mr. Hammer, but because the caller spoke directly to Mr. Griffith and support his vision, which is our vision in Just Royal Party, we'll ask Mr. Griffith to give a statement or give a reaction to the comments that the caller made.
Thank you. You did not identify who you are, but I am appreciative of your comments. The philosophy is that because of the multiplicity, it's mind-boggling, the multiplicity of natural resources that we have in Guyana, I hypothesize, as a matter of fact, it's very practical, it's not only a theory, that Guyana can produce any commodity that you see exists on the face of the earth because we have the raw material to produce it. Last week I spoke a little bit about planned development in northern Rupununi that did not materialize. That was done in 2008. But today I brought with me a photocopy of what the head of department at Oklahoma State University passed to me in 1976. And on this piece of paper, there are 55 products in which we have the bauxite to make it. I'm talking about water treatment, wastewater treatment, embalming fluid, materials to absorb moisture, toothpaste, shoe polish, the fire retardant to the back of your carpet, paints. We made paint out of kaolin at GPC in 1979, 1980. Adhesive, wallpapers, a whole list of products. And what are we producing? None of them. But if we are to become a manufacturing powerhouse, we need to master plan. And last week I outlined an industrial agricultural development that was supposed to go around the Godorp airstrip. It would have occupied 50 square miles. As a matter of fact, at this point in time, there is serious flooding in the Latem area, and there is an anomaly there between the Takutu River and the Ireng River, Rupununi River, and river. There is an anomaly, but that could be fixed. We do not have a National Science Research Council. It is a council that existed before. The Institute of Applied Science and Technology is a part of it. So what our government should do is to find someone to manage our research in every single area. We have research going on at NARI, at GLDA, and other places in Ministry of Health too. So you should put all research under one head so we can have a master plan for this type of development downstream. And there is another council that's supposed to have been established, the National Water Council. Since we have all this water in Guyana, we should have a National Water Council that will control all the waters in Guyana, not only NDIA, but water, GWI, etc. So those two institutions need to be established. I did a paper in 2016 with respect to how that National Water Council can be established. I'm familiar with IAST because I was there in the 70s, not on staff, but I helped out with a couple of projects at the IAST, so I know how that function. So we should have these two institutions established that can control the type of developmental thrust through research and the application of those research. In other words, the research will provide you the framework as well as the yardstick to take you downstream for comfort, for producing goods and services, a multiplicity of goods and services which we can produce. Even though our population is small, we can get involved, businesses can get involved in artificial intelligence, in robotics, in top-class technology. We have the institutions that can do that. So we need to establish this National Research Council and the National Water Council, which can drive the development. Let's not make the development piecemeal. These institutions can perform the background research and provide that information to the government for funding, for phasing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So that was Mr. Charles Griffith. And we go to Mr. Rahman in a short while after we take this call. Caller, in there.
Good afternoon, Mr. Minister, to you and your panel.
Yes.
Is it a special topic or anything you could speak about?
No, anything you could speak about. But you can also relate, because you can also relate to the
10 months ago now, right? I get shoot. Going to Japan, Vibos data. And answer a day like today, Providence Station can make an effort to give me one code day, at least one code day. I don't understand what's going on with this thing. Like they conspire with these thiefmen or something, because nobody doing nothing. They come to the hospital, they take a separate statement, they take statement before you go in the hospital, and after now they can't do nothing. They didn't even investigate the girl to see if she set me up, because no money never go in the area before. The first time I ventured in the area, the first time I dropped her she home, and she was just texting her, I said, on the phone. When I tell them, they tell me there's Vibo's daughter. When I tell them when I go into Diamond, they tell me there's Vibo's daughter, she won't depend on. How do I mean if she set me up for get shoot? I remember now, I never go in this area before. I never ventured this area yet in my life. The first time.
You saying you're a taxi driver?
I wasn't a taxi driver. I used to work at the bar of the East Coast, Cheers Bar and Grill. And the owner of them now, they knocked me off too. They didn't even give me nothing. They sent me to drop you home. So it's like the only advantage happening to me alone. You understand me?
And who you went to address your concerns? Who you went to?
I went to nobody yet to address me concerns. I go to the station many times to find out. They're taking me phone number. I don't know if they're taking me number. He said, I don't know what they're taking me number for, and they're calling me.
Okay.
You need to make a complaint to the police complaints authority.
Yes, that is. This is one of the.
You need to make a complaint to the police complaints authority. One of the problems, Minister, that a lot of callers have got is that they don't know what their rights are.
Yeah, I was done do 4 surgery already. Within this 10 months, I got to go next month. I do another surgery.
Yeah, thank you. So we are advising you to make a report because these are police officers that you think are not doing the work. If you think they're not working in your best interest or not professionals, well, then it's something you could report to the Police Complaints Authority. Again, police. You could go and see the commander of the division, tell him what you're experiencing at the hands of the police. Or you could also seek address elsewhere in relation to the judiciary. Why this matters is not being followed up. So, Mr. Rahman?
The callers who have called.
No, your presentation.
Yes, I will deal with the broader issues. I wanted to, you see, the issues that are being raised by the callers, they are issues that are historical. They have not just appeared from nowhere. And I am happy to say from this forum that the attempt that Mr. Jagdeo has made to the President to begin to have dialogue, I think we must welcome it from us here on this platform, the voice of the people, because it's a good gesture. Whether he is serious about it is another matter, because he must honestly and openly tell the Guyanese people that he did make some serious error, colossal mistake that this government, this 3-year government, has to deal with. One of it is the crisis we have in the police force. We do have a crisis. And people need to understand that we can't solve these problems overnight. I mean, I have personally dealt with police having to complain to the Police Complaints Authority. That organization that's supposed to deal with police, with people's problems, that organization is not well equipped. It was not well equipped. And I think that it needs to get the kind of resources, Minister, so that it can deal effectively with people's complaints. People are very frustrated. If people have these problems, and they go to the police station. And I know I've had to carry people's problems to the police station. I had to talk to the commander. I have to say that we have a very good commander in Lenora. And he is doing his best. I work with him closely with people's problems.
Don't be distracted.
I am not distracted. I am not distracted. This is part. This is part of the thing that Mr.
We have a number of issues to deal with. The lines are going.
This is Mr.
So let us deal with your presentation.
My presentation involves Mr. Jagdeo coming forward and helping the President to deal with problems that he created. The problem that we have in the rice industry, where we lost the contract, the Venezuelan contract, where the farmers should have got $6,000 a bag and got $3,000 a bag. The information, the research, the audit is on your desk. 6 people have been charged. More will be charged.
The audit is not on my desk. It's in
the hands
of the police.
Of the police.
Force.
But people are complaining that the police are moving very slowly on it. They say that we must have patience. But these are issues that Mr. Jagdeo needs to sort out. He needs to come to the table and say, look, these are the issues that are affecting the Guyanese people, and seriously we must come together in unity. As Charles said, we can't solve these problems. The caller who congratulated Charles for his in-depth knowledge and skills and experience in this country has gone wasted, because his knowledge and thousands of Guyanese like that living in this country and living abroad have not been given the opportunity to exercise that skill, knowledge, to better the vast majority of people. The crisis that we have in all sectors of the economy. Let me read a bit from the manifesto of the Justice for All Party, which coincides with the manifesto of this government. We still have situations where, after 3 years, we are not able to deal with the crisis that was handed down by the last government. This is a crisis that 12 years of Jagdeo's administration created the level of chaos. And I wonder if he's going to be honest to come forward and admit these problems so that we can deal with it. He said that he knows that there are monies that are billions of dollars that have been taken out of this country. I wonder why Suko or Sarah has not gone after him and said, Mr. Jagdeo, you have said these things. Look, you got to help us, because we need this money to help to develop our country. The last budget that the government put forward was a 2016 budget, and the last one was $300 billion, wasn't it? What was the budget?
267.
267
billion.
And when you look at the budget, you will see that a large proportion of that, $43 billion, was allocated to education.
No, you're looking at
in 2016.
That's the 2017 budget.
No, this is 2016 budget.
Yes, but it's 2016. But
For 2017, yes. And the point I want to make is that that amount of allocation cannot resolve the problem, because these are deep-seated problems. When you have children at the age of 16 and 21 who cannot read and write, who are you going to blame for that? You can't blame this government. This government needs to deal with the problem, and they are effectively. When you have civil servants, when you have senior policemen, when you have people who are in positions of authority and are incompetent, lazy, they engage in all forms of corruption and theft and bribery. These are things that got to be dealt with, because these things do not help development. It impedes development. And we need to have a situation where people can get justice. The man who called, clearly, is a man, and thousands of people like him meet me all the time. They meet you too. They come to your office, Mr. Sharma. You should not be dealing with those type of things, because our officers on the ground, whether it be in the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, the police, all these people, they come to you and me to deal with issues that are supposed to be dealt with by government officials. So we need to have a system where people can have justice, where people can have redress to the cause. And we've been saying this, Mr. Sharma, C.N. Sharma had been saying this more than 15 years ago. You could read it in his manifesto on all aspects of life. He talks about housing, that Guyanese who are born here should have the right to a house lot, not to have to buy house lots, to build houses for people who can't afford, don't have the capacity. This is what we have to do. So therefore, the next election, people who voted and they think gone wasted, they need to participate in the process of getting themselves elected at the local government level, at the regional level, and at the parliamentary level, so that they can be empowered, so they can change their lives and don't depend on politicians and political elements who come to power. They make all kinds of promises and they deliver very little. We need to have financial and democratic accountability. And unless we have that, we're going to have civil war in this country. Because people are tired and fed up politicians making promises to them. And I don't think we are part of that. Because I know you very well. As the minister, you're taking on more than what you should take on. But you have to do it because nobody else is doing it. And let the truth be said. None of the ministers come to any of the programs in any part of this country to be answerable to the people of this country. And we must make that demand. The president must go every single week and face the press. It is a normal part of life in every single country in the world. Mr. Trump never used to do it, but he's doing it now. Our president has got to that because he has nothing to hide. The president has nothing to hide. He's doing a good job, and we need to support him, and he needs to come out and explain to people what he's doing and what he's not doing and why he's not doing it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rahman. And if we should go back to the caller that supports Mr. Griffith's vision, as I said, it's the vision of the Just Raw Party. I being the deputy leader of that party, that's the reason we have that connection with Mr. Griffith. As I said, we share similar vision. He knows exactly how to do it. He have the master plan in his head. And so he will share these master plans with me. And let me tell you, there's a lot of things to take in. So you don't want to have him start a talk because, you can't stop him from speaking about what Guyana needs, how Guyana needs to develop, how Guyana could become the world-renowned manufacturer and a powerhouse that is second to none in the world. So this is all the possibility of Guyana. And that caller make me go back to the time of GRL itself and producing fridge and freezers. And I could tell you this, in Trinidad it was selling like hotcakes. And Trinidadians would like that. Matter of fact, CN himself would get a lot of work from that sector. When you purchase a fridge and it's been down, CN will go and repair that fridge at quarter the cost of having a new fridge or freezer. Because they themselves had some deficiency, and CN know the deficiency and he will fix it. CN also, my father that is, would also repair those compressors. He would go into the compressor, which is the heart of the fridge or freezer, and he will open it up. And he will examine what is it. Maybe it's not pumping, is the coil, is whatever the case, and he would exchange those parts. Take a good part from that one and put it in this one, once it's compatible. So I was reading in the newspaper to see that the first time the Georgetown Public Hospital did a remarkable thing. And they did the first paired exchange kidney transplant. So that reminded me of my father, C.N. Sharma. As a young boy, I saw him cutting these compressors open, fixing them, welding them back, and testing them for days before he would put them on the fridge. And when it goes on in the fridge, it's like perfect, it's like new, it lasts better than those. So for that pair and exchange kidney transplant, I must say we must recognize Dr. Kishore Prasad and Dr. Shika Mir for the wonderful job they're doing, and we are doing kidney transplant. Just imagine that. So dialysis, which is very costly, could be solved by having a kidney transplant. Now the pairing is a concept which we need to develop. It means if I want a kidney because my kidney gone bad, one of them, and say my mother, my father want to give me, or my brother want to give me one, but we are not identical because of the blood group or the tissues. And my wife want to give me one, we can't get it. Mr. Rahman wants a kidney, his wife want to give him a kidney, but it can't work. But his wife's kidney could work on me, and my family kidney could work on him. So they team up and we exchange the kidneys. And that is what this pairing of kidney is all about, the kidney transplant. So this is a very good initiative, GPHC. I must say congratulations again to Dr. Kishore Prasad and Dr. Shika Mir for doing this wonderful thing for the Guyanese people. Continue good works. We need more doctors in that field. And again, as I said, CN, remind me of CN and his compressors. And CN today did a surgery to his heart and is recuperating, and we must also have him in our prayers today. Carla, you're there.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Sharma.
Good
I
afternoon.
want to raise 3 quick points. You know, when we talk about justice, right?
Yes.
And doing, for example, you have I can't remember the Bureau or the City Council, where they seize a lot of expired goods from a business place, right? But yet still, we, the public, don't know which business place it is. Not every guy is going to a shop and pick up something and look and check for the expiry date. We're accustomed to going and pick up something and you buy it. So when they seize these things from these places, they ought to expose who are the business people doing these things so that we can know. The second thing is, with the concern, and I'm not too much in favor of the law concerning that, with this young lady, with the incident of the place with the police, where I noticed the assault charges were dropped against her. So I want to know how come the DPP did something like that. If you have any idea, you can explain. And the third thing is, you know, when you come out from Mandela Avenue to turn on the East Bank, you have those trucks with the sand that they're parking. But what I've noticed, it is damaging the edges of the road. So are we going to call on those truck people to fix that place? Because when the rainfall is swamp and all of that, and you have cars parking, you know, we need to get the traffic people to be more with persons, because you have the turning light. And then you have cars by DSL parking there. So when you turn, and you have to turn in the lane when the person's coming from the other direction. So they need to look in things like that. But I need them to do something about the trucking situation because it's damaging the roads in that area. And if you can shed some light on this, if you know anything about the assault charges that were dropped, if you can shed any light on that, because I'm amazed at that.
The assault charges and who again?
The girl who...
They already put the gun to the police head.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yes.
There were not enough evidence, they claim.
Right. So these are the challenges we face. And so you could be guilty. Everybody could see you commit that act. But if you don't have persons willing enough to go and give testimony against that person, look, the law will have to say there's no evidence and they will have to drop it. And this is the reason why you need witness protection programs, you need whistleblower, and things of that. But the state also needs to give confidences that if you testify against a person, that you're protected. And maybe the state may have to protect you for as long as possible. Who are willing to go through that? I'm going to tell you, not much Guyanese are willing to do that. Probably none of the Guyanese. I myself had an issue couple of years ago. A car jammed my car, and a lady came out and said, I saw what happened, but I said, would you tell the police? Said no. I said, I don't have time to go to court. The woman is saying, I don't have time to go to court. So if I go for you, I spend a couple of months going to court. Who can compensate me? So these are the challenges. So in the forensic audit, the audit is clear because I look at the file. I assisted in working with it because I review it, and wherever they need to do additional work, I requested additional work. It's good. The police is asked to confirm the findings of these paper documents because it's paper I'm looking at. I don't have those statements from no one. I haven't questioned anyone. I haven't seen the bank account, but I have the paper before me that is saying is something wrong. The risk in this organization is very high. And because of the internal control weaknesses, I know that there is fraud. With my experience, 18 years experience in investigating financial matters, I could smell a fraud a mile away. So I know. I also know that person will not give testimonies. I also know that the person that we're going to have the best lawyers, the senior counsel. I also know the police prosecutors are not known for prosecuting these kind of cases. And so these are deficiencies. We know the court system is against us. We know that so many things working against us. So I'm fearful today if we may even get, if we may even go to the level where we're going to have a successful conviction in the forensic audit because of the number of challenges. So you asked me to address why that young lady was freed. You know, in Guyana, you could pay anybody. You could pay the witness, you could pay
Police.
maybe pay police, and people even say
Pay judges.
the magistrates and the judges may be also questionable. With these anomalies, how could you get the justice that you're looking for? So we need to address these and all other issues to ensure that we get justice. And our party is justice for all. But of course, the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary are all separate arms. I'm now part of the executive, and I can't interfere in the work of the what you refer to as the judiciary. They're independent. So I'm hoping that our acting chancellor of the judiciary will look at these cases and examine them. When such things are thrown out of the court, I think the chancellor and and her team should look at these matters and to check to see if everything was above board, if the magistrate or the judge acted in accordance with the law, if they had no other choice in dealing with the situation. So we need to have that kind of judicial review. So I hope Madam Chancellor will put that in her program, because people call in this program and it's visible.
What?
Caller, you're in there.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Sharma.
Yes, good afternoon.
And to the panel.
Good afternoon, sir.
I heard this recently, right, that so-called made some charges against a former accountant. I guess because of your action in Parliament, you said that so-called is moving slow. But Mr. Sharma, you always say that the export, you always speak about the export. Mr. Siglinton is the export, right? And if you don't find that these charges could be brought now, you know, I don't feel that, you know, you should challenge Soku, because they have to get clear evidence. You know, they don't want to bring charges and then it doesn't make sense. For example, look at the drug issue we have now, 367 million.
Caller, again, something must be wrong with how maybe I speak and you understanding me. I never challenged the Special Organized Crime Unit. I'm asking, why is it? 'Cause I give the Commissioner of Police this investigation. I was the one who making the complaint. I said, we did these forensic reviews. We find internal weaknesses, high risk in these organizations. Remember, no ministry. So they ain't going after no minister. And so I said, you have to do your job. These are criminal, and so I'm an accountant. The person that did these works are accountants and auditors. They don't have the authority to say charge anybody. They could say it's suspicious. They recommend for an investigation. We are not police. The Special Organized Crime Unit. What I wanted from the expert Sam Sitlinton, Dr. Sam Sitlinton, was him to say what's the reality in that unit. And what he said in that unit, to him, he believed they're overworked, they're limited staff. And it's highly technical work, and so they need competent people.
That's right.
So I also know for a fact there's a number of cases that was produced and was given to the police legal advisor, and when the police legal advisor finished with it, it goes over to the DPP. So there's a number of cases stuck between the police legal advisor, who's the sole person that looking at every single crime issue that before the police, before it goes to the DPP. And when it goes to the DPP, it's not that the Special Organized Crime Unit is not doing the work. They're doing the work. The problem is that the DPP may want more work to be done. More work. And when you go to get these evidence, you are being stopped by the lawyers. Maybe the DPP say, go to this bank and get this information. when you go to the bank say, I don't want to give you the information because for some reason. I want to know what is the weak in the law that providing the bank and supplying the information. I have no problem against this special organized crime unit. I think they're doing an excellent job. I want to ensure that they get the necessary resources. So you get me wrong. I'm not attacking the police. I'm trying to help them. So if the police legal advisor, being one person, cannot handle the workload, then I'm saying that this expert, Sam Sittington, Dr. Sam Sittington, should recommend to the Commissioner of Police, to the Minister of Public Security, to the government of Guyana, that they need more persons there, not a sole person. They need more persons to recommend, to review these files, so they could say it's okay to go with the DPP. Now I don't know if the DPP need additional staff too.
True.
And expert prosecutors, and so I need this expert from the UK to say if the DPP office is competent enough to look at these cases, because they passed me, and I say it was okay, but I'm not the police legal advisor. I'm not the DPP, and I was not going to say it passed me and it must go to court. But I know what I saw, so I know we're not going after no former minister of government, because I didn't go and do any investigation in no former minister of government. So there's Dr. Singh, but Dr. Singh, former minister of finance, not linked to the prosecution because he was minister of finance. He was sitting as the chairman of the board of NISL. Those persons at GRDB who were PPP members of parliament presently and PPP supporters, they were not charged because they're merely board members. They're supposed to. I would have charged you because they're board member. I put you there, not I. Any government put a board there to look over the interests of that cooperation. You have a fiduciary responsibility to ensure that everything the cooperation does is above board. Anything go wrong, you should be forced to be blamed. But we didn't go after these individuals.
Because they're PPP.
Because they're PPP. Those persons signed the check and signed checks totaling hundreds of millions of dollars. And those same persons were board members sitting on the board, and the financial statement went to the board, and guess what? That account was not recorded in the financial statement. So if you are signing, if you're a signatory to the check, and you're looking also at the financial statement, and you didn't see the account appear there, you knowingly know something wrong. Why you didn't object? So this caller apparently willingly want to call into this program to cause mischief, but I know the facts. I don't speak about these investigations, and I should start speaking. Caller, in here.
Hello?
Yes.
Typon?
Yes.
Pleasure, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
I believe I heard something like Mr. Griffith and the other regular.
Yeah.
This afternoon to you people.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
That's
sir.
all my problem is council in road work that's finishing Clambrook, between Clambrook and Grove constituency, and we appreciate it. On the behalf of the complete entire constituency, I would like to say thanks. Now, we got another issue. Recently, just when you come over the line, we have the new road that we have there. We got a brother rent out the building to a Chinese. You got this big the yard truck that's coming there. The brother made some hole on the side of the road there. And I noticed they put some soft mud, but they're going back there to park and they're going really fast. They go damage the road, buddy. When we protest to get something, you got the other counterparts down upon the other side, say, they always shoot them, let the police shoot them. Now we get something with fail, they come in and break it up. I mean, and they believe it is unfair. Now, the police station, you promised me was to come this well. When you go into the police station, they understand that people was removed from that station because of police using it for their personal use. Anyhow, on the road days to go to the station, it is a very bad condition because we got people and other residents there, now we get around there. He come and he got a vehicle, we driving for somebody there, and he parked it, he destroyed the whole one side parking. I did never expect a road would go there because the whole place was swamped. And the Guyana at the time do that place,
and the police station have a road there now that you could go in. They got a bridge, I believe they should park the vehicle on top, and they got anybody got vehicles to park, I believe they should build bridge and park it over the trench or carry it in the yard. Come and see the place there, you got some hole, your vehicles can't fall in there, or else you going to lose the entire swamp and the entire bottom. Now the brother take the other side of the road, and the other side is going to be the left side going in, going eastward, and you got to the right down of the park. I got clips that could show you that. You know, and we need something to be done. No sense we got to run and protest and fight for a road, and when we don't got the people break it up. Because if you don't get justice in the court system, people will take it in their hand, brother. We wait too long for it. You know what I mean? And it's time we got something. I hear about this ranger, but this country running with too much of friends and cronies, my brother. We can't get something for today, and we got to fight for it, protest for it, and when we get it, it just goes gone by the wind. You know, we got some big vehicle coming in and let it step out there, like how they ship that out in the deep water, and let them send in that small thing and distribute that thing. We don't appreciate that. You can't never block off this road. When they go in and go, when they come down on the thing, they go in at the park. That bridge you want to repair. I believe they should put a concrete bridge and finish with it. Every time you spend millions of dollars to put a big good bridge.
Mr. Thomas, you ever thought of contesting to be a constituency councillor for your area?
NDC.
Let me tell you, the thing is, I tell you again, it's too much of friends and cronies, and who you like and who you dislike.
Okay, good, thank you. You know, Mr. Thomas is a regular caller to the program. He knows everything that goes on in Clanbrook. He could tell me. And he's concerned. He's very concerned. He has solutions. But he's not willing, for some reason, to say, I put myself out there as a candidate in the upcoming local government elections that is slated for November 2012, November 12, 2018, and to represent the people of that area. So I'm saying to Mr. Thomas and many other persons that we call in this program that certainly have an interest of issues that are occurring in the community. And you don't have to be from a political party. You could represent your community as a constituency candidate in the upcoming local government election. It's slated for November 12, 2018. The Joshua Party will not contest. We made a conscious decision not to contest, not because we don't like the people, but I don't like the division that the local government is causing amongst the AP and UAFC. The reason the division is that, you know, there's a fight for dominance and presence, and the Joshua Party is not about division. If I know you want something, I'm going to give it up. If it's going to make you happy, I give it up. I'm like that mother in Solomon when he hadn't made the judgment. I say, Solomon asked the mother of the child, are we going to divide the child? And give each one of y'all part, because both of y'all claiming is your child. And the mother say no.
Your real mother.
The real mother said no, give that other mother the child. And Solomon knew that was the real mother. So similarly, I would not see the division of our political party or our coalition called the APNU plus the AFC divided by a seat or two. I don't want no seat. I don't want no chairmanship. I don't want no councillor. If it will be that's the case, I will not contest. So if the AFC is not satisfied with what they have in, I give them my portion. And so they could be happier,
Minister,
and be
if
a
they're
stronger
not
party.
satisfied, why don't they go independently as a political entity? Test their veracity, whether people like them or not. If I want to know if anybody likes me, I'll go and stand as a local government election and let me see what tests my popularity or my favoritism.
So this is the Justice for All Party mantra. We don't cause division. Caller, you're there.
Hello, good afternoon,
Yes,
Mr. Sharman,
yes.
the panel again.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
I called just now and was speaking about the charges Rosoku brought against the thing, and I was cut off. I don't know what happened.
You cut off, but apparently you're not listening when you cut off. Because explain.
No,
Why?
I got cut off because I have another point to make.
No. All right, caller, go ahead. Make your point.
Right? It's in connection with the Lincoln Letter Road.
Yes.
Right?
in Parliament yesterday. See, why this call and follow these things? I follow what's going on. I don't talk off me head while.
But you did talk, you did talk off your head while just now, because I explained the reason why. You're accusing me of attacking the special agreement.
Mr. Sharma. The Linden letter wrote, the two ministers in Parliament yesterday admitted that they dropped the ball concerning the maintenance of the road.
No. The person, I was in Parliament, not you, okay? And the only person that admitted that they dropped the ball or dropped the balls was Anil Nandalal. Okay.
Okay. Well, the ministers them apologize for the road in the state it is. Now, what I'm saying, Mr. Patterson said that the people in the area wanted to buy fuel from Brazil, and he told them that it would be more expensive to buy fuel from Brazil. But the government should be aware that there is no tankers and some kind of parts to go in the interior there. It's affecting trade, right? Mining, all of that, tourism, everything. What I'm saying, they have two ministers of finance and the GRE, right? He's saying that the cost would be more higher because they will not pay taxes.
Carla, we don't I have to correct you. You don't have two minister of finance. You have one minister of finance. I'm the minister. No, I'm the minister with 10 different. I'm not the minister. I'm not the minister of finance.
Okay, but you're getting technical. We know the junior and senior minister.
I am a minister.
Please listen to my point, man.
No, but you're going to mislead the people.
Why misleading people for we have two finance ministers?
No, you don't have two finance ministers. Yes. The Minister of Finance is responsible. I'm not responsible for nothing.
All right, Mr. Patton is saying the fuel will be more expensive. What I'm saying, the Minister of Finance should work out arrangements with GRA so that they could lower the taxes so the people could get the fuel until the road is fixed and get our local fuel going into the interior. It's affecting mining. This government, this sleeping, I don't know what's wrong with y'all, Mr. Sharma. And nobody don't call y'all out. There should be an immediate action. Lower the taxes of fuel in the interior there so they could buy from Brazil and carry on the business. They got lay off people and all of that. It's affecting the economy. Thank you, man.
Okay, good, thank you. The caller, you want to contribute, and I like his contribution, but of course I have to correct him, because if I don't correct him, allow it to go. You believe you have two Minister of Finance. I'm a minister within the Ministry of Finance. I assist the Minister of Finance. The Minister of Finance, the Honorable Winston Jordan, is totally and fully responsible for the Ministry of Finance. So you have an issue and you have a solution, and I congratulate you for that. Now it's from the government, the Minister of Finance, and the Cabinet to determine if they will go with your recommendation. So I congratulate you. That is very good. I like when people call in and they have solutions. Your solution sounds very logical, but the Minister of Finance may have a different way of looking at it. Our lifeblood as a government is taxes. And everybody wants everything. They want road, they want cheap gas, they want to do the business. They say government must what? Reduce the simplest thing, taxes. But how are we going to run? How are we going to maintain the country? We need that same tax money. We have to find some other avenue. So the question was posed, and it's a political question by the opposition about the road condition. Listen, I was in opposition. I would be happy to produce some photographs and say this is the road under the AP and UAFC government, and show them the most deplorable road. You know what Gail Teixeira would say? Yes, that is the road. Guess what? It was the condition under the PAPC. But of course, then opposition, the road have issues, and they're going to make a big issue out of it. There's some issue with coordination. What the minister may admit, and maybe on the program I may have Minister Ferguson, one of the minister in the Ministry of Public Infrastructure. And what Minister Ferguson said, look, they have issues coordination, GGMC, and also Ministry of Public Infrastructure is looking at road, and we're going to work out a situation where in 2019, we know who will be responsible for the road, for a particular road, so there wouldn't be this guessing game. So if a road gone bad, I know it's infrastructure. If this particular road gone bad, I know it's GGMC. And what they're saying is that that will be implemented in 2019. It's a plan. What the Minister of Public Infrastructure said, that this issue that has been raised by the road about the fuel, that is Minister Patterson, know for sure that is not negatively impacting the economy of that region. Because, for instance, you know that there's adequate supply of fuel. And you know that they could get fuel if they want fuel. So in the studio, and she work on her name is Minister Ferguson, a minister within the Ministry of Infrastructure.